everyone. I wanted to say thank you for everyone who's watched my videos so far. It's so great, and like thanks for the comments and people, telling me and stuff. Well, before I start today, I actually want to share something really cool with you guys. I've when I first started this video, I hoped that it would help people, and it turns out it did. And one of my friends actually saw my video and wants me to go with them to hospitals to talk to people, who are really not kind of losing sight, not really there anymore, which I thought was exciting, so I thought I'd share with you guys. Not sure where I'm going to go yet. There's some, some hospitals can do religious things. Today, I told you guys I was going to talk to you about brokenness, and to start off, I wanted to tell you the verse that this whole lesson is going to be about today. It's actually Psalms 77, 1 through 9, if you want to write that down or not. I'll read it to you. It's kind of long and lengthy, but this is the only time I'm going to refer to it, and maybe in and out throughout my discussion I'll talk about a line in here. So I'll start reading it. Psalm 77, starting with 1, is, I cry out to God. I call to God, and He will hear me. I look for the Lord on the day of trouble. All night long I reach out my hands, but I cannot be comforted. When I remember God, I become upset. When I think, I become afraid. You keep my eyes from closing, and I am too upset to say anything. I keep thinking about the old days, the years of long ago. At the night I remember my songs. I think and I ask myself, will the Lord reject us forever? Will He never be kind to us again? Is His love gone forever, and He stopped speaking for all time? Has God forgotten mercy? Is He too angry to pity us? So, today, this is referring to doubts about God, and I don't know, some of you may know, some of you may not know, but it's told in the Bible that Jesus has risen to heaven to be with God, but one day He will return again. We don't know that day. Some of you may know that it's Judgment Day. So here it's saying, we don't see Him like they do, as, is He upset with us for all the wrong that's been going on in the world? And this is, I took notes, so if I look down, I'm sorry. I just kind of have to check myself sometimes. But I titled this one Brokenness because I'm going to kind of, I'm going to show how our relationship with God resembles a broken window. So for example, a brand new shiny window, you can look directly through it and see what's on the other side, if it's clean. But say someone was to throw a pebble at your window, throw a rock, something, not enough to break it, but enough to shatter it. All those little cracks is going to make it hard to see what's on the other side. So this relates to our relationship with God, because at first, if you do no sin, you never done anything wrong, it's so clear to see Him, it's so easy, you're like, He's right there, I know He's there for me. But if you do something wrong and you're ashamed and you don't want to go to Him about it, or you want to avoid the conversation in total, your view of Him starts to get a little foggy and you can't really see Him all the way anymore. And then it clouds your judgment, and you may not make the same decisions you would make if you could clearly see what He was doing for you. So maybe, for example, maybe when you were younger, parents got divorced. I know that's something really common with a lot of families now in the U.S., which is really sad to say, but it's something common now. Sometimes it's somewhat acceptable. So maybe you were so close with your mom and dad, and you thought nothing could go wrong, and then one day they broke the news to you and said that they weren't happy with each other anymore, and they didn't want to be together anymore. You might think to yourself, I feel like it's your fault, feel like you did something wrong, and you may not, you may be angry with God, which is fully understandable because we're told that God does everything for a reason. He has a plan for us. He knows what He wants for us. So to you, if you find out that your parents aren't going to be together, someone these are supposed to be role models for you, happy, what you want to be like when you get older, what you want in a relationship when you get older, or maybe the opposite way. So when you find this out, you may distance yourself from God and be like, hey, why are you doing this to me? Now I have to go see one parent sometimes and the other parent sometimes, and then arguing over holiday visits and stuff like that. Also, your window might have been cracked some other way. Maybe as an adult you lost your job, and maybe your department was overfull and they said, hey, we have too many employees, budget cuts, and you can't have your job anymore. You'd be like, what the heck? Now I don't have a job. How am I supposed to pay for my living? A home, my daily needs, my food. How am I supposed to do that if I don't have a job? Like, God, why are you doing that to me? I was perfectly happy with my job, and now I don't have any money to live. Or, also I wrote here, maybe this pebble mistled into the pain of that shattered it. So maybe the job. Maybe your job just that pebble represents your job, your hope, and it just shatters your window, and you can't see him anymore, and you don't know where to turn, and maybe you get yourself into trouble, and then somehow you're on the streets, and you most likely probably are like, God, why did you do this to me? But I want to talk to you guys about how to overlook these bad things and to realize how lucky you really are. For example, so if your parents get a divorce, and you have to go in between homes to see them, and you don't get to see them every day, God did that maybe to strengthen your relationship with your individual parent. Maybe you were spending so much time with your mom because she was always home and your dad was working. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe your mom was always working and your dad was always home. Now if you split up the time with them, you get to have one-on-one time with each of them. Maybe that strengthens your relationship with both your parents, or maybe you stop talking to parents that maybe weren't in your best interest. Maybe that's why the divorce was made. Or the example of losing your job. Maybe it's a good thing you lost your job because maybe you find something greater. Maybe you get closer to God because you pray to Him like, hey, I really need help. I don't know how I'm going to wake up. But I feel like we take for granted we get to wake up every day. There's some people in hospitals with terminal illnesses that don't know if they're going to wake up the next day. And we need to be thankful for the life that He's given us. So whenever we are, after our window's been struck by this pebble, whatever form it may be, you distance yourself from Him and you question Him. You're like, why would you do this? Did I do something wrong? Did I make you mad? Was it because I cheated on that test in class, or is it because, oh, I know I shouldn't have, but I went out and I partied with these people even though Emily said it's probably not a good idea, but I did anyways. Is this my punishment? My parents getting divorced, is that my punishment? Or you feel like it's a personal attack on you, but it's really only there to strengthen you. So there's this thing you can do. You can get baptized, or you could, create a relationship with God again after all this brokenness, after your window shattered, after you think there's no hope and you can't see Him anymore, you're starting to lose sight. And then sometimes things happen in your life. Maybe someone comes up to you on the street and said, hey, why don't you come into my home? How about you go to the shelter that I've heard about? Maybe some church person comes over and says, hey, our church is doing a thing for the homeless. Maybe you should come. There's going to be job opportunities. And you go there and you get a job and it's great. And then you're like, wow. You know what you can do? You can get a new window. Your window's broken. You can just, once you get up on your feet and you realize what you're doing now is so much better. and you're so much happier than you were before. You get that new window, brand new window, it looks even better than the window before, and you can see clear through it. Your parents get a divorce, and you're just so upset, and then you realize that your relationship with your parents is better than they've ever been, and you're so much happier, and you see the happiness in your mom, and you see the happiness in your dad, and you're like, wow, I get to see them smile. You know, they're genuinely happy, and that makes you happy inside, and it's great. And you can get that new window, and you can see right through it, and you're like, thank you. Because even though you couldn't see clearly through the cracked window, he was still there. He was still there for you. You just had to go get that new window. Before your pain came, you could see him. After the pain came, you couldn't see him anymore. But then after you prayed to him a little bit, and he seems distant, you realize that you just need a new window. You just need a new perspective. Your perspective was altered, and now it's changed, and now it's great. Just like in the scripture, you know, they were at first, you know, you start to question him, and you're like, why? Like, why do you do these things to me? For example, back to the Alexis thing, there was a great thing that happened at Massaponics this past couple of days. They did a fundraiser for her and got over $4,000 for her medical bills and treatments and stuff like that. And then someone started to bash on her for having leukemia and, you know, saying, you know, just ignorant to certain things about the disease itself, cancer itself. And, you know, sometimes I follow her on Twitter. I get to see her every day, like see what she's doing, how she's doing. And she said, why me? Why does this happen to me? And I don't have an answer. I really don't. My friend Joseph, he's probably one of my best friends I've ever had. He's a senior at VCU now, and he had cancer, and he's perfectly healed. He's fine now, and he's actually the person I might be going to hospitals with, because he wants to go talk to these cancer kids and tell them they still have hope. And he doesn't purposely hurt you because he wants you to feel hopeless. He just wants to strengthen your hope and your faith. He wants you to realize, maybe I want to, like, he's brought, like, the whole Alexis thing has brought Massaponics together. It's ridiculous the amount of support she has, because she was a very well-known girl. She's still a well-known girl, and now even more people know who she is because of the situation, and so many people are going out of their way for her. And I cannot wait to maybe help people realize that everything's going to be okay, even, like, no matter what's going wrong in your life, no matter how much you turn away, you just more pebbles just being thrown at your window, and you can't see them anymore until you get a new window, or all those bad things, all those pebbles end up breaking your window, and you can clearly see through it. And, you know, the window itself, the reason why you can't really touch them, you can see them, is because we do this thing called sin. There's like the 10 Commandments, things that you don't do. You may want to look them up if you want. Maybe I can talk about it another time. But lying, for example, is considered a sin. And so if you commit sin, it said that you are deemed to go to hell. But Jesus died on the cross for us. So if we ask for forgiveness, so you say a lie. You say a little white lie, maybe about something. You shouldn't do it. Do not lie. But I'm saying, if you do, everyone has at some point in their lifetime been afraid to admit something, you know, maybe done something wrong, didn't want to say anything. But if you ask for forgiveness, Jesus died on the cross for you, so it's okay. But there's still that barrier. There's still that, you know, we can't fully get there until one day when we can actually go to, whenever it's our time, and we actually go up to heaven. Our window's broken, and we can now fully see through, and we can actually touch him. So maybe a terminal illness, for example, people who have stage 3, like really bad cancer, brain cancer, stuff like that. Cancer itself is an awful thing. Any illness, anything bad that happens, car accidents, so many pebbles have been thrown at you, and you're so lost. until your window is shattered. And then it's time for you to choose where you're going to go. And you're like, God, I see you clearly and I'm so sorry. Please help me. I realize I've done wrong things in my life, but I know that you'll forgive me because you died for my sins on the cross. So, hope you liked my window scenario. I did pray for the comment below. It's in my journal. Maybe someone else prayed. If anyone has any other prayer requests, I suggest that you comment below. And if you have any suggestions, I try not to make it as long because I heard that it was really lengthy before and it started to get laggy, and that's not good. So I try to cut it short today, short and sweet, and haven't decided what I'm going to do for next week yet, but if anybody wants to comment, text me, Facebook me, Twitter me, DM, whole Twitter thing, let me know, and I'll totally talk about it. I'll put on my list of things, of suggestions to do, but thank you guys for listening again. Really appreciate it. I love the text messages, the Facebook messages I've got about the video, and I want to thank you for all the support. Keep sharing my videos. Stay tuned for next week. Please let me know if there's anything I can do for you. I'm just going to close in prayer, and then I'm going to say the name of the verse again just in case you didn't write it down before. Okay, so, dear Lord, I would like to pray for all those who are lost and feel broken right now. I hope that they get the message that everything's going to be okay and they just need to pray for you, that you will help them, guide them through, even through the rough times, that everything's going to be alright. The grass is always greener on the other side. The rainbow always comes out after the rain. Anything you could think of, it's true. I want you to help me let them know that. I want to pray for all those who are hurt. I want to pray for Alexis again. I also want to pray for River's family again, and that they all become closer to you, Lord, and that they realize that everything's going to be okay in the end. I also want to pray for the children in hospitals right now who are lost, even adults who are starting to lose sight and starting to lose hope in you, Lord. And I hope that they somehow get to know you, whether it be me or other people or their own family members, Lord. Thank you. Amen. Alright, so the verse, one more time. Psalm 77, 1-9. Thank you guys so much for watching again. I will definitely be posting one next week. Thank you.